Hello, and thank you so very much for joining me tonight. I go by Lune, INNATE, and I'm very excited to be creating this video session for you today. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm a Reiki master teacher primarily, but my work is composed and fused and woven with the shamanic apprenticeship that I've completed, the books on esoteric healing and astrology that I've studied. I have reached the end of the line as far as how much training I can possibly get in terms of Reiki. So I've developed other ways to enhance my practice, which is why I'm different from another Reiki person, and another Reiki person is different than me. Some of us like to work with angels, some of us like to work with crystals, some of us like a whole mix of all this stuff. And just to kind of put that out there, like I've kind of had some emails come through that was like, oh, I got a Reiki session. It was very different from what you do. And that's beautiful, like, of course it is. I have my own experiences. I hold my own style, hopefully. So just to kind of throw that out there, not all of us is the same, don't judge it. It's not necessarily comparable in a better or worse situation. It's just different styles, different teachers, different energy that you'll kind of be drawn to in your life or not, But anyway, sorry, back to my introduction here. This session I'm very excited to create for you guys because it deals with something that I work very heavily with my clients. Certainly not all of them, but manifesting is a very big part of my practice. And I'm not talking about, manifesting, winning the lottery, or these kind of like almost gimmicky kind of, I want to say, or I'm not finding the right word, but that type of manifesting. I don't mean miracles can't happen and people don't win the lottery, but I'm much more concerned with, or my focus is much more in, what is your heart's desire, or one of your many heart's desires? Are we in alignment with getting that to happen? Are we on the path to fulfilling that heart's desire? And I don't want to make you feel like it's just about getting to that goal. It's the process of getting there and what we learn along the way, and the connections we make, and the things we discover about ourselves, the things we heal perhaps or work through. These could go back through your family lines, like your ancestral lines, dealing with perhaps lack or emotional abuse, like there's lots of different things that we're healing as we're working towards these goals. Your goal, or something that you want, whether it's a trip or a different, like switching your job, or a relationship, or having a baby, or buying a home, or moving, stuff like that. For me, it's part of the heart's calling, the soul's calling, I should say, because it's getting from A to B, let's say, or getting here to there, is laced with all of these lessons, all of these people we were kind of signed these contracts to meet, perhaps all these things we have to look within ourselves about. There's sometimes little setbacks and forwards and that, and essentially, yes, this is the kind of other end of the magnet that pulls us through, like, this is what I'm working towards, I can set my sights on that. But it's the journey itself, right? I know it's like cheesy at this point, we've heard it so much, but it is about the journey and the pieces of the puzzle that are kind of interlaid within getting from one point to the fulfillment of one of your many desires. So to be clear here, let me get my candle and start. Our desires aren't best served for manifestation, from my perspective, unless they have some kind of back point to it, some back thing. So I'm going to talk about needs versus wants, essentially, here. But let's look at our candle lit. Blanca actually gave me this. It's like a Bath and Body candle, I think. Yeah, it's fresh balsam made with essential oils, and it's like, I've already used a lot of it, and she gave it to me for Christmas. I have to use a lighter though, because the matches will just burn too quickly. My office is gonna smell so good now. right. And we're going to set our intention to be able to reflect on the feeling of needs which we might have, things we want, things we need to complete some goal. So let's say money. Like, I need money to buy this house, or I need money to be able to move because moving across country is not cheap, that kind of thing. But it's not that I want the money as in to sit on it. I want the money, let's say, or I need it in order to have the experience, right? So I'm going to clarify that, but let's just set our intention because I don't want to make our intro too long. Okay? So on behalf of my and your and everyone else's highest and greatest good and perfect comfort and alignment, wish to conduct this healing session by proxy to assist with balancing, clarity, and being able to identify the need behind the want, if I can put it that way. What's the point? Like, if I'm focused on I need money, oh, I gotta save more, it's not really fun for manifesting. It doesn't really feel that good. It's very evident that I'm not precisely where I need to be to feel comfortable to move across country, move my office, all this stuff, right? It's not I'm trying not to overcomplicate it, but it's not necessarily oh yeah, I'll just do that kind of thing. But instead of the want, oh, I want this money, and focusing on that, I am so much better served by focusing on the home. Why do I want the home? Well, I want it to be able to build beautiful places for experiences in my home, to create this nest, to welcome my friends into, to have dinner parties, to have conversations, to sit by the fire, to reflect, to house my books and my crystals, and give Bamba a yard to run around in. You know what I'm saying? See how much more full and meaningful that is than, oh, I need X amount more money before I can move kind of thing, So that's what we're working on here, to identify the true need of the desire and the feeling part of it, the emotional tie, the thing that is satisfying, not the money necessarily, Oh my God, that smells so good. And I'm going to use this twisty dude to burn some incense for our session here. Okay. Just a little offering. Energy snacks, as Miss Starseed Energetic says. And I love that so much. I'm going to be working with a singing bowl for a moment, so I'm just going to turn you down a little bit. Alright? And this is just to allow some waves of clarity to roll through us before we, as we continue to get started here. Alright? So let's assign our conscious mind the task of being able to clearly identify what is it about what we want that is more of a need to have fulfillment, to enrich the experience. Just let these waves wash over you. And let's focus on clarity. For those of you looking to manifest a relationship or something similar to that, let's focus on, for example, the kind of experiences you want to have with this new ideal partner. How are you going to treat them? How do you want to care for them? How do you expect or manifest, let's say, for them to care for you? What are you gaining from this experience? And this like really beautiful back like end of the, not the dragon head, the dragon body. If you're thinking of like Vedic astrology and oh gosh, I'm gonna forget the names, like Rahu, and I'll try to put a link to you guys for something like that. If you're confused what I mean, and I'm just using this smoke and feather here to begin to continue to cleanse your energy today. But what I'm talking about with the headless dragon, it's mostly associated, from what I know, I could be missing a part of it for sure, but with the North Node and South Node in Vedic astrology. And the North Node is kind of associated with the head of a dragon. So it can think and it can do, and it has drive and consciousness, let's say, like deliberate ways, but it's always hungry. And the headless part of the dragon, or the body rather, is has the knowledge and the ability, but it does not have the consciousness, so it is unguided. It's pretty interesting if you're into that stuff. I don't know why that came up exactly. But just fanning this smoke, this Himalayan herb mixture to you to cleanse your energy. Okay. I hope that this intention is clear enough. It's about identifying the reason behind the want, the deeper part, going on another level. I need to be able to get this home for my family, because I know it's also a part of my greatest lessons of experience. And there's been a lot of healing that I've had to do in order to get that or to become closer and closer to it. I had to listen to my heart to decide and finally pinpoint where I wanted to go in general, because I don't want to stay on the East Coast. I want to put down some roots somewhere else, right? That took me years to just to be okay with that and be like, no, this is what it is. And it's back to square one, where I wanted to move when I was 15 years ago, So I have a laboratory here, and I'm just going to be chatting with you and sharing these crystals. And this is to help us see the unseen, read between the lines, tap into the true core and essence of why we want, why we have these wants, and manifest from that place. Because when we do, we're not only making it more gentle and easy for us to be pulled or have something pulled to us, in a sense, as we're kind of flowing through the universe, through life, but also it opens up pathways for these desires to reach us that are not ones only that we could identify. Isn't that beautiful flash? So I had to work through lack. I had to work through a fear of commitment, maybe. I'm going to show you this heart, which I think I've shown you many times. It's one of my favorites. It's a ruby from the shop Monk and Moon, who I just ordered some stuff from, actually. There it is, right? So I'd love for you to connect with your heart. Maybe put your hand on your heart if you're open to it, or just, excuse me, focus your energy there. And really feel your desires or the connection and how your heart might be speaking to you. What's the deeper meaning of these wants and desires? And how can we focus on those in a way that allows a much more smoother flow of attaining and working there and being on that path? I love this guy. He's so cute. Little star ruby. This amazing piece, which I think is just a kind of carnelian chalcedony. It's like an agate, but it's also quite, I don't know, I guess it's agate, but I brought this out for our desires, like our emotional desires, the emotional fulfillment of, seeing my partner and my son play by the fireplace that I'm picturing that I'm gonna have, It happens to look like fire, but to get in touch with those emotional desires and emotional fulfillments. To be guided more so by our emotions. In a calm way, in a way we can read them and not get all like tossed around. So let's focus on our sacral, the energy there, and bridge from the heart down to the sacral, so the place of desires in the heart. I want to experience this. I want to go on this trip. I want to do something for other people. I want to make a difference in even just one life, whatever it is that you're working towards. Particularly if you struggle with the it's too material, or manifesting doesn't work that way. It has to have how do I say it? Like a struggle internally, like if you feel like you don't deserve it, or if you feel like, why should I have that? Everybody, there's so much lack in the world. Well, you can't help people as effectively as if you were in a position to help, let's say with money, or something like that. So I'm going to focus on the heart's desire, whatever that is for you at this point. It could be many, and bridge the sacral, that emotional place, to let us know and feel how good it is to focus on the back end of the want, the true need. The universe does not necessarily just provide for wants. I mean, I'm sure it does, I'm not saying as a rule, but a need is different. I hope my terminology isn't throwing you guys off. I don't mean to say we need anything, more or less, It's not like a missing need. It's like the richer aspect. Okay. From France, probably from the beaches of France. Start to build a little grid over here. Okay, then I have this cool chiastolite. Am I focusing good enough for you guys? Sorry. Chiastolite, or cross stone sometimes. Very good with the Earth Star chakra. And I want us to be able to access our Earth Star because we need to access the Earth in general to manifest, to create, to connect with Mother Matter. So although I'm kind of aiming at your eyes, in my mind I'm focusing on your Earth Star and the bridge between these places from, let's say, the heart down to the Earth Star. And just kind of revving it up a little bit comfortably, but gently, and activating it more in a sense, and how you move and how everything you do impacts the earth plane in some way. So let's add the good. Let's add what's real from a deeper understanding, okay? These are absolutely wonderful stones. I love chiastolite. Okay. And finally, I think, well, almost finally, this is a red tiger eye. And I brought this out for its connection to the third eye here, but also for its ability to, or what I'm working with here, the intention of the more material. So if I have a material desire, again, I'm just going to stick with money, but this could be anything at all. Health, like what's the back end of like why we would want to be healthy, so we can have fun experiences, we can whatever, right? Like just to put that out there, it's not just about money. It's just kind of the theme right now. But to access or bridge rather, the third eye, the place of vision, of understanding from a more innate and bigger picture, the material creations, and why we have these callings. Okay? So I'm going to focus this beautiful red tiger eye on your third eye here, and mine as well, to fill the space, if you're open to it, with the bigger picture of why we have these desires to create in the material realm, and how we can tie a bigger meaning to them, a bigger meaning, a bigger magnet, a bigger emotional pull, a more powerful way of manifesting these goals. And we have so much more appreciation for the journey of getting from A to B if we're able to see that it's all about the growth, and just the alignment with that is already success in a sense, Right. It's almost like I can see you laying in the grass, and these kind of blades of grass and wildflowers and bumblebees are the grass is growing, the flowers are blooming, and the bees are doing their thing, It's fertility, growth, organization, comprehension, working together. Right? Let me bring you back before I make you a little dizzy over there. Alright. And then I have this I had a amazing Reiki level 3 class with somebody I've been working with since she was first in Hawaii. Now she's back on the East Coast, and we got to meet in person. And she brought me this from her collection. She said it seemed like it wanted to go with you. And I know that feeling. I give many, many gifts that just are like, I'm running out the door, and a crystal's like, I want to go. Send me along. This is an awesome pyramid tetrahedron. Is that I could be wrong. I'm getting a little mixed up right now. But a copper pyramid, I'll say. And I love this for the generator kind of vibe. I know it's not technically a generator. That would be, I think, 6 sides. But, just this like grounded base and this kind of communication. So I actually meditated and saw one of these in my meditations very recently. So how timely, to receive this beautiful gift. But it's not just that this energy is kind of being collected from here and sent up. It's also coming down and being spread out on the earth through this base. So it looks like it's one directional, you could say, but I don't see it that way. I see it as both. And why these are just so cool, And I'll bring you back again. Sorry. Not quite, right? Oh, what's that? What's that? So, when I first made a video featuring these, I just kind of opened them and used them as I was going. But the creator, and it makes sense to me too, this is much more of a manifestation spray. So how perfect, right? Going to spray this around you to assist with magnetizing you to the much broader, bigger picture, the sub-layer of your manifestations, the beautiful components that are sometimes not in our vision as much, right? And I'm going to spray my hand. And we're going to send this Reiki to you, this energy by proxy to you, to assist with not just the clarity, which we've already kind of identified, but really making that bigger part of your desires, the bigger, like, what is it about this that I want? The higher side, in astrology, it's more of, there's like the kind of negative side of, let's say, Cancer, like Cancerian, maybe like moodiness or whatever, right? And then there's the higher side, which is more nurturing. So we want to focus on the higher side of our manifestations. Okay? In perfect love and comfort and with so much honor to your free will, to what you've come here for, your purpose, your soul experiencing new things and having new desires to engage in those experiences. All right, I'm just going to send this to you in these soft waves, kind of coming like a shark moving to you. Right. Filling your whole etheric body, your whole field with this higher awareness, this higher vibration of what you're manifesting for or why you might have these desires. This might awaken, if I can say that, in you something you didn't quite perceive yet. It might tell you need to work on something as well still. And thank that, honor that. You need it. It's coming to you for a reason, And it's not from me, it's from you. This is just energy work. All of the experiences that you have pertaining to energy work are because you kind of kicked something loose and got the flow going, or you had an aha, you had a moment of clarity that allowed you to see a bigger picture. But it's you that does that, focusing in your aura to kind of move things around. Connect different points. From the heart out. Okay. Down your arms. This flow to create, to receive, and give, and create these experiences, because that's really what it's all about, is the experience. These waves. Just gentle, like palpitations, just communications from your heart, energetically, not physically. Helping the intention to see more broadly, to see on levels perhaps you may have been missing a little, like the emotional level, or how it's affecting other people, how it's affecting the world. Alright. Well, I hope you enjoyed this session. Sorry it was a little short. I mean, who's to say, right? But I have to get some work done. But I wanted to just create some videos for you guys this week. I'm sending you so much love, and I want to special thanks to those of you who are joining me on Patreon, particularly for the lesson session tier, just because it's a new project I'm quite excited about. But those in the other tiers as well, I'm so incredibly honored. I don't mean to exclude you. And the $5 tier, we have a monthly kind of zodiac themed. So it's like a card reading. We talk about the moon and talk about essentially how we can be perhaps most in alignment to work with and direct the energy of what's kind of happening during a particular zodiac season. The one for Aquarius will be coming out in about 3 days or so from now. And then the next level up has that with the more like teaching sessions. The next one will be about the astral planes. So just to kind of put that out there to those supporting on Patreon, those of you who just watch or leave a like likes help so much, comments help so much. I feel guilty I haven't been able to engage quite as much as I would like to, but I've just had a very busy schedule, so I know it's kind of, I feel guilty just throwing out those hearts, but sometimes I'm reading them at the end of the day, and I've been talking for basically 7 hours that day, and I just don't have much left communication-wise. But just want you to know that I read all the comments, even the jerks, and I'm very honored to hear what you guys have to say, to hear your feedback, to hear how it's affected you. It gives me so much motivation, so please don't stop. It's absolutely incredible. I just thank you so very much. From the bottom of my heart, as always, namaste.